Hello, beautiful people on YouTube. Hello, everyone that is tuning in live on TikTok. I'm about to do my weekly Woman Mastery Mastermind, so Woman Mastery Mastermind call. And I was like, this is perfect. I get to do another sunset live just before the call. You guys know that I'm loving these sunset lives and being out here delivering this to you. But today's conversation is probably one that I'm going to be diving in deeper into the mastermind call in like 25 minutes. But it's a conversation that I had with one of my clients that I specifically work with when it comes to business. And it's about understanding what are we doing. And I want you to keep in mind, even if you don't have your own business, this can be applied to all areas of your life. So if you're watching this, you're a high achiever, you're ambitious, you are someone that has a big vision for your life. You are someone that has that vision board. You've been doing the inner work. You've been doing the personal development work. You are looking to upgrade your life. You're watching this because you're ready for that next level. And so I'm going to pose a question to you, and I'm going to ask you something. And this is the conversation I had with my business client, but I apply it to my mindset only clients. And it's, is what you are currently doing going to be sustainable for the long term? It's very, very easy in this world, in our society, to do things that are going to get that instant gratification, to do things that are going to incite quick wins. And so we can have that quick dopamine hit, because having a quick win, receiving that dopamine hit, it feels really good, doesn't it? It feels good for our ego. It then signifies to us that we are doing something right. Again, apply this to your business, your career, your relationships, your personal wealth, health, your habits, everything that you are. But what I see time and time again with the high achieving women that I work with is what they are setting themselves up for is definitely this quick wins, instant gratification, but not the long term goal and the sustainability piece. You want to create a life, you want to create a business that is sustainable. One of the biggest fears that I see in a lot of my clients when they come and work with me is their fear of, if I change, I'm not going to be able to maintain this change. If I get to X amount making in my business every month, or I hit this salary increase in my career, or I attract my dream relationship, I'm not going to maintain this. I'm not going to sustain this, right? This fear. And so when we play into this fear that's kind of stems into fear of failure and fear of success, we start to constrict instead of being, and I've done a whole live about this, but we start to constrict instead of expand ourselves and our capacity to receive more. We constrict and we start playing very small. We start getting into cycles where it's like, let's just look for the quick wins. And these quick wins are normally not sustainable, number one, but they're often at the back of the scarcity, the lack mindset. They're often at the back of not having trust to lead yourself, not mastering yourself. This is one of the reasons why I created my mastermind, Woman Mastery. It's about mastering yourself as a woman, becoming a leader of your life. And so what I often see is the lack of self-trust as well, the lack of self leadership in one's life. And so you're probably like, okay, well, I'm noticing this behavior in me. What am I going to do? How do I create this? I want you to start to think of, what are the things now that you think of implementing or doing in your business, your career, your life, that scare you because you feel that you may have a dip in income, you may have a dip in connection with friends, family, relationships, you may have a dip in your savings, you may have a dip in your health, or things may adjust, or it may be like, for example, a health one is like, maybe instead of doing the Chinese medicine, the naturopath route, it's like, let's just keep taking pills every single day. Now again, this is just an example. It's got nothing to do with anything, but I wanted to give a different example. And so the quick win gratification is like, let's just load up on pills every single day. But you know that in the long term, if this is what you believe in and where your values are rooted in, in the long term that the Chinese herbs and the medicine and the natural route is going to benefit you more so in 5 years than taking these pills, right? Does that make sense? That's an analogy that I just came up with, but it can be very applicable to someone watching. And so look at your life, look at your business, your career, health, wealth, and start to ask, how can I play the long-term game? And the women that I coach who play the long-term game and they play it well, and they think about it, and they step into leadership, they step into self-trust, they think they step into a conscious awareness of what they are doing. These are the women where I see that it can look like they're doing this work for a year, properly diving in deep into their identity and their subconscious programming. And it feels like, yeah, I can see some changes and it's uncomfortable because I could have had a million wins, or I could have had like, X amount in my business, or I could have got that. But then all of a sudden they've leaped, they've jumped, and they're at this new place. And this is one thing I'm really excited to speak to my mastermind ladies about today, because we were all inside a Voxer and they were sharing with me these wins. And one of my masterminders, I have worked with her previous to the mastermind, I think for about 3 years, maybe even 4 years. And the win that she shared today is something that she would speak to me about 2-3 years ago. And she's almost had to step back. But see, this is the thing. Even when you step back, you're going to see some progress. She has been seeing progress in different areas, but now it's like catapulted her into exactly what she's desired and what that end goal, that vision, those values are for her. And so always start to look at is, am I playing the long-term game? Now, am I going for the sustainability piece? If you right now are in your business and you're burning out by the end of every week, you're not inspired, you're not excited, you feel disconnected, you feel resentful, you don't want to get in Voxer and talk to your clients, you don't want to create content, it makes you feel ick, you need to step back. My client who I spoke to this about, my business client today, I was like, we're going to strip back everything you've done for the past 2 years and we're going to implement these 2 to 3 things only. And she was highly uncomfortable. But she rooted, and this is the thing with the women that work with me, is they're very consciously aware, like, I know this sucks and it feels uncomfortable in my body, but I know that this is going to propel me forward. And it's about feeling into it. It's about this all knowing, right? And when you build the trust that you have with yourself, when you build the relationship you have with yourself, you can tap into your intuition. You can tap into that all knowing pretty easily. And so just thinking about, if you slow and steady wins the race, as the saying goes. I had this conversation in a different form a few weeks ago. Really big business owners who have gotten these big, quick, juicy money wins, but they're miserable. It's not sustainable. They don't have time with their family. They don't even have time to spend the money that they're making because they're so wrapped up in what they've created. Whereas there are people who have been doing this and are now starting to see the results after 7, 8, 9, 10 years. But now they can step back and relax. It's sustainable. They can enjoy this time with their family. I'm not saying that it's like a sacrifice right now, but it is going to feel like a slow burn. It is going to feel sometimes like, oh, maybe I can just do this or do that, like a quick, unethical win. Create the sustainability piece. Create the piece that is going to bring you that vision of long term. And long term right now, start to look at the next 12 to 24 months. Would you be doing what you're doing now in 12 to 24 months? 2 ways that answer can go. Either yes, in an elevated way, and so you're on the path to get there, or no. And I've heard this from my clients. No, I wouldn't in 12 months. That I wouldn't want that to be a part of me. Why is it a part of how you are building your life or your business right now? And it's served you up to the point, but the quicker that we can recognize, the quicker that we can start to identify these loops and these cycles and these patterns that are no longer serving us, that are getting us in these loops where it feels like we're overwhelmed and stressed and burnt out on repeat, the quicker we recognize that and be very honest with ourselves and take radical responsibility, the quicker we are able to minimize the gap between where we are and our long-term vision. I don't mean long-term like quick win. I just mean it's like we can learn we can gather feedback from everything that we are doing. And so really start to think about, is what I'm doing sustainable? Am I in it for the long term? Or am I creating this cycle on autopilot where I feel like I'm never going to get out of it? It's the only way that I can create my version of success. And like I see all the time to my clients, your version of success is going to be different to the next person's. It's going to be different to mine, but it is up to you to define that. Anyway, I've got to go. I have to set up and prepare for my mastermind call in 15 minutes. If you resonated with this, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel. Let me know over on TikTok as well. And yeah, tell me your biggest takeaways in the comments. And there's also the details for Mastering Mastermind in the show notes below. And any questions, you can come on over to my Instagram, slide in and ask a question. But I appreciate every single one of you. I will speak to you tomorrow.